Well, that's a big countdown. Ooh, Jeremy was almost ready, but then he remembered he had to tear something down off of the wall back there that he wants to talk about today. So I'm watching him over there. We're doing kind of a call-in show here. Oh, this is the Creativity Podcast, by the way. What do I know? I guess we're doing kind of a call-in show here, and we have 3D Weeb, my friend Toby, in the queue waiting for us to take his call. I don't know how we do that yet, but we'll figure it out. But we at least have to wait for Jeremy to get back and figure out what we're going to do here. He's got a Jeremy made notes. I printed them out on paper here. I hope there's nothing secret, because if there is, I just blabbed it to all of you there. How are you doing today, 3D Weeb? I'm not ignoring you. I know you're in the queue. Talk to us. This coffee is not as it is. There's these little coffee Julie metal things in there to keep it warm. So I don't have to drink it fast. Welcome to the Activity Podcast, Jeremy. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you know what? I'm getting a bit of feedback because apparently I've got YouTube open
Oh,
somewhere
I've
or
done.
other. So I
I
gotta
I know this feeling.
let's see.
I know this feeling.
Close tabs.
Well, don't tell him you printed them, Chris, because then I'm going to get in trouble for leaking confidential documents to you.
Here we go. All right, there we go. Yeah, I was hearing everything about twice. So are we streaming right now?
Right now, we are
Right now.
absolutely live.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, tell you what though, before we officially start, we'll let everybody trickle in and stuff, but a few kind of off the subject things, if you don't mind.
Are you
Yeah,
asking me or the audience?
you or the audience, either way. I guess you're only one that can really give me any feedback. But I guess so. We got these cool stickers, the TCP stickers, the Creativity Podcast. If you've ordered anything from me on Tindy lately, you've probably gotten one of these. But what's the new development is that in addition to these stickers, we also have the Creativity Podcast stamp, and only I have one of these. But if you notice, the back of this has nothing on there.
No way.
Look at this. It says the Creativity
No
Podcast. So
way.
now when you get something that says TCP, you're not like, what in the world is that? Go to Creativity
Where's my
Cast.
UDP sticker?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was what I
yeah. I
tried to
know.
figure out the first time I saw one.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I guess the cool thing is people are like, maybe they're using it for other things. Who really knows? But it's relevant whether you know of us or know of TCP/IP and UDP and whatever
I'm a fan.
else.
I'm a fan.
All exactly. Um, well, should we go ahead and get started, Pat, officially?
We should. Yes, 3D Weeb is waiting in the chat, but he's not sure if his microphone works. So we might have a very short chat with Toby today.
Okay, yeah. Probably. Well, I'll just go ahead and say it. So, welcome to Creativity, the podcast where art and engineering collide. Today we're live streaming. It is July 13th, 2021, roughly 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time, and much later than that in England, earlier than in California, and probably in the afternoon sometime in Hawaii if you're listening from there. So, uh, and wherever else you are, it's certainly sometime, right? Right, Pat?
Jeremy sure knows his time zones. I'm I'm intrigued. I'm
Yeah. Well, I do. This actually, I can tell you actually, it is 7 o'clock in Houston, um, 1
I
a.m.
can
in
verify
London,
that.
and it is 8 a.m. in Shenzhen,
Is
China.
that
So
today? 8 a.m. today or
that
yes or
is
tomorrow?
that is tomorrow according to my computer. So
we may have listeners in the future
we
watching
may have
right now.
listeners in the future. Yeah, but today, we're going to talk about, kind of some of the stuff on our agenda. We're going to go over the current issues, which won't be particularly controversial. Just maybe some stuff we've been up to. I took a trip. Pat's got an interesting espresso story. Something about an F-22 and hair dye. I don't know.
I
We'll
don't know
figure
what
that
that
out.
is. Do
Um,
you know? Did I accidentally put that in there?
well, we'll talk about that when the time comes.
Even I
Go
have
over
to
our
wait.
current. We'll go over some current projects. I think we've got some stuff we're really excited about. And last of all, we're going to go over what we're watching and whether Pat's head has watched the head yet. So, stay tuned for that. Does all sound good to you, Pat? I
This
know
all
we've
sounds fantastic to me. I'm excited. I'm
great,
super excited.
great. Well, I guess one thing we should probably go and give a shout out to our Patreons before we get into it, because you never know what happens with live stream. So shall I go ahead and give a shout out to them? We'll just say we're doing the coffee break early today. So,
Well,
kind of like when you,
I won't by the time we really would have a coffee break.
kind of like when you apply for a job and they say you get 2 weeks of vacation and you say, can we take it now? That's kind of what we're doing here, which I've never done, by the way. But well, go ahead and give a shout out to our patrons. We got a Michael Sizer, Raptor, creatively spelled, Christina Kearney, Stuart Morrow, and of course, Positive Waves. So, just want to give a shout out to our top 5 Patreons. If we try to do that every show, and if you want to be one of our Patreons, you can do that. Where can you do that, Pat? I think I can
You could do
maybe
that
get that.
at patreon.com/the creativity podcast.
That's correct. You
Is
got
that
that
correct?
correct,
Oh,
and that
thank
may
you.
be the first time either of us have gotten it correct. So,
I always have trouble knowing which things to put the in front of.
yeah. Um, well, I mean, that being said, we're going to try to talk about that. But we also, if you want to call in, we're going to try to take callers kind of rapid fire this time. Maybe just see what's up. And you can do that on YouTube. I don't know that we have a link we could put up for that. I
It
suppose if
is
you're
in
watching
the
this,
it's in the description, I believe.
if you're watching this, it's in the description. So you just click on that and you can talk to us. No, before we get into stuff we've kind of got planned, do we have a guest?
We do. Let's bring 3D Weeb in. He's a good friend of ours. He designed a fantastic 3D printed computer case that everybody should see. But I'm gonna let Toby in and see what happens. Do you
Oh,
think
look
it's
at him.
working?
We can see him.
I could see 3D Weeb.
We don't know if he can hear us though. He's I feel like on the radio they'll say, oh, go ahead and turn off your radio or whatever. So he could
It's
probably hear
true.
us on delay. I'm guessing he'll
Yeah, he'll
he'll
catch
pick
us
the
on
mess.
YouTube in about 10 seconds.
Hey guys,
Hey, how are you
Hey,
doing?
hey, how you doing?
can you hear me?
We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
It's good to
You've
finally meet you in person, Toby.
well, I don't know if Pat's
Are you
getting,
hearing
but
me okay?
that's
I can,
that's true for me, I
can
guess.
I can hear.
Yeah, we can hear
I
fine.
bet Toby's hearing us through YouTube and not through. I've done this before.
There is a delay.
You're
Well,
probably
go ahead and close out
Can't
YouTube if
hear
you
me?
would. Hello? Yeah, sometimes we get as we did earlier before we started streaming. If you got YouTube up, it goes out about 10 seconds later. So it's
Yeah,
a
I'm.
little
I'm
you
little
probably
confusing.
have Riverside muted and YouTube playing.
Hmm.
well. I definitely just lost something here. I think I got off YouTube.
Okay, excellent. Well, can you hear me now, Toby? Hmm. Well, I guess we can cut this after the fact. Like, if you're
Yep, that'll
watching on
be okay.
YouTube,
The
the
the it's the difficulties of being live.
Okay, I'm back on.
Can you hear
Okay,
us now?
Hmm. Yeah, it seems like he's still on a delay. Oh, Pat, did you let him into the room or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in here.
Don't you love tech?
I do.
Yeah,
Well,
we might have to hang up, Toby, because I don't think we're going to be able to. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it work.
I'll tell you what. Tell you what, Toby. What we'd like you to do. We'll be quiet, and you give us a little monologue of whatever you wanted to tell us, and we'll just hang up on you. Does that sound good to you, Pat? 'Cause
That's fine by me, Jeremy.
Okay. So go ahead, Toby. Tell the world what you have to say.
Yeah, this.
Well, we might have to.
Hey,
I
I
think
just want to thank both you and Pat. That I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Um, Pat was very generous in his review of that 3D printed server that I put out there, and both you guys, I just enjoy reading your stuff and watching what you guys are doing. It's not only great entertainment, but it's educational for me. I appreciate that, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Toby. It's really nice of you to call in, and really nice to hear your kind words. That's really awesome. So
it
you know
is. It's awesome. And
we follow you on Twitter, of course, is what 3D Weeby, and seems like he's always got some cool stuff to say.
yes,
So
we'll put a link to Toby in the description, of course.
yeah. So thanks so much, Toby, and hope you have a great Tuesday night. And I guess I'll get that message in a few seconds. Um, well, Pat, do you want to?
I'm gonna hang it up so that we can continue because I don't know how to. Okay, nope, don't hit that. I almost hit the wrong button, Jeremy. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Where is it? Here it is.
All right. All right. Well,
Are you there, Jeremy?
I'm here. Well, that was very nice of Toby to call in. We're, appreciate that. And if anybody else wants to call in, we'll accommodate you as well. So,
I tell everybody that Toby's 3D printed NAS case is a work of art, and it's not an exaggeration. It is a beautiful piece of machinery. Everybody should check it out.
well, that's awesome. As they might say, check it out, y'all. Check it
I
out.
reckon.
Yeah, yeah. That's another obscure reference that I'm sure nobody. Anyway, yeah. So current issues on the agenda. What do you want to talk about today?
Well,
Pat,
I heard you were going to tell us about your. You took a recent trip to somewhere, and I don't want to give any details away. And yeah.
Yeah, I did actually. We went to Glacier National Park, which was quite amazing. It's interesting because they were saying that basically it's, even though it's called Glacier National Park, it's more like it's glacier affected national park, because you can kind of see with the mountains and stuff how, the glacier, when it was forming or melting, the glaciers basically formed the mountains and stuff there. And you
When
can
the
kind
glacier went through 20
right, when
years
the glacier
ago.
went through, and you can kind of see how it's almost shaped like a bowl. It's something that you wouldn't see unless it's pointed out to you. But then once something's like, hey, that's what it is, and then you're like, oh, that makes makes a lot of sense actually.
And you can't stop seeing it. It's just
Yeah, exactly. So did you you ever been to there, Pat, by
never,
any chance?
never,
I'm sure you guys have
never anywhere quite so tall either. The
you
mountains
stay in the
everywhere I've gone are just hills.
okay. You stay in the flatlands for the most part because you're from New Jersey originally,
Oh,
correct?
you can't say that. That's terrible. That's offensive, Jeremy.
Oh,
I'm
sorry
from
to say that.
There's a map on the internet that I just saw a couple of weeks ago, and it's all the 50 states, and each state is labeled with which state they hate the most.
Okay.
And New York and Pennsylvania both hate New Jersey for some.
Oh, that's right. You're from Pennsylvania. Of course, you're from Scranton. Same as the office and Joe Biden from what we discussed from DIY Perks, Matthew Perks, right?
Yes, both of these are true. All three of these things are true, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was funny because when you told Matthew that, he said, it's from the office, and he thought you were referring to Joe
office of
Biden,
the president.
office of the president, which isn't something we usually say here, but you wouldn't just say the president usually, but that was thought that was interesting, I guess. Um, but well, yeah. So I guess back to my trip though. I just wanted to show a couple photos. If you're listening, I guess you won't see these, but I thought I'd just show one off. I so I visited the Canadian border, but we couldn't go in there because apparently there's still locked down from COVID. So I don't know. Can you, is that up on the screen?
It is up on the screen.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah. So you can see Canada. We could just see
Canada,
Canada there.
United States.
And apparently that's like, I don't know if I don't think it's a busy port of entry normally, but it was like, we were there for say 10 minutes and we did not see one car go through. It was interesting. I did step a few feet on the other side of the boundary though. So,
You can't
no,
say that in public. You're going to get Jeremy.
yeah,
The-
well, I think,
The Mounties.
the Mounties. Yeah. Yeah. I think, actually, I think Michael Sizer is from Canada. So hopefully he won't, turn us in, I guess. Or, I could be wrong with that I could be wrong about that. So if that's not true, then I meant it in the nicest way. You could say it, but if you are from Canada and watching, don't turn me in. I may have stepped my diseased American feet may have reached onto your lands. So, I guess there's that. And
I don't.
yeah, I hope not. And here's another thing I saw in I'm from Florida, and
It's a little
So
south
they
of
had-
Canada.
they had orange juice there, but it was from some place called Nantucket Nectars. And if I'm not entirely sure where Nantucket is, but I believe it's in New England, correct, Pat?
This is correct. Yeah, and I've
So-
I've drank a lot of juice out of bottles that say Nantucket Nectars on them.
But I
They're
mean, I
very
feel like it's a
common.
little bit offensive to me as a Floridian, and probably you as a migratory. What's the word? As an immigrant Texan.
Well, I
Immigrant?
don't think we have oranges here, so I don't feel too bad.
You don't?
I don't know. I've never seen
think-
one.
Well,
I mean, at the store in the.
I think there's somebody
the
somewhere
basket.
that's offended to you, but I just don't know about these Yankee oranges. Supposedly, I think they're probably from Florida or maybe Brazil. So that was, I wasn't real crazy about that. But let's see what else we got. Let's see. Wanted to show you. I actually we had a bit of a Bigfoot sighting, believe it or not. So
Is that him?
no, I'm about to see him. So let's see. Yeah, so yeah, we got that. So this is somebody or something that walked out on an iceberg on this place called Iceberg Lake. There's a glacier there, and just walking around the glacier, and he jumped in.
My goodness.
Yeah.
How
So, but
water, Jeremy?
it was pretty cold. At least that's what that person told me. So, but the funny thing was, it was during a heat wave, so it was like 100 degrees out, even though there was snow on the ground. And anyway, it was just a really beautiful trip. So if any of you guys get a chance to go to Glacier, I would highly recommend it.
The important question is did you have a good time?
I did have I had a great time. So got to see went there with my wife and saw my friend Sean, his wife as well. So that was great. And you know, he was able to kind of, he'd been there several times. He was able to kind of show us around and show us what's up there. So it was pretty nice.
Awesome.
So yeah. Now, Pat, you know, I guess switching gears a little bit. Oh, I guess I could turn the screen share off. Um, my understanding is that you have a bit of an espresso story.
Well, I kind of do. I have a machining store. I turned something on a lathe for the first time.
Like a metal lathe or a wood
On
lathe?
a metal lathe. Yeah. My friend Alex bought a mini lathe from China.
This,
They're
this is from Harbor Freight, the little red.
no, the Harbor Freight one's the 7-inch, and it's the same as the ones you get from China. This is an 8-inch, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, right? It's just an inch bigger. Who cares? But it's quite a bit different. All in the Harbor Freight one are plastic in the 7-inch, and all the gears in the 8-inch are metal, and it has a real electronic speed controller and brushless motors, and it's a good upgrade. It costs about 2.5 times more than the 7-inch, but it's quite a bit more machine.
Okay.
But Alex had a piece of he had a bar of aluminum, and I did this. I faced and I forget what you call this. You can tell I'm a professional machinist.
Yeah,
I
I
accidentally
should really
got
know.
I accidentally turned the tool inward instead of outward there and got a little ring down there by mistake. But
Wow, that looks pretty good. I've worked with the metal lathe a decent amount, enough to turn some really poor parts. But you know, actually, I wish I had it here. I've got a knight and a rook that I made. I turned in on steel and had it
oh,
black
very
oxided.
cool. How do
So
you
I
get
was
the? Did they have the cuts in the top of the rook like for the castle? The did
well,
you?
yeah. I made the whole thing when I was in college. I worked as a co-op, you know, kind of like an intern, I guess, and they basically gave me the run of the machine shop. So I turned it down and you know, put the cuts on the top and stuff, and it looks pretty great. I mean, the question people would ask me is like, oh, well, are you going to make the rest of the chess set? And I always said no. It was never my intention, but you know,
Yeah, and a lot of the
that
other pieces aren't exactly round either.
yeah,
It's not a
exactly. Yeah, and it's you know, the knight and the rook, you can make it, I guess, either purely circular or purely angular. Whereas
okay.
like with a queen or I mean, you know,
Yeah.
the horses,
Like
of
a
course,
rook and a bishop, I would have thought.
yeah,
The
but I
knight's a
guess
horse.
the thing about the bishop is you've got the kind of the arc, you know. You wouldn't have to do it that way, but
Oh, I've
uh,
got you. Yeah.
yeah, with the knight, basically, I just made everything square, so I didn't have to use a CNC or any sort of real artistic talent.
Well,
Um,
and as soon as when I got this home, I took a picture and put it on Twitter. 2 minutes later, my friend Voxel on Twitter said, "Oh, did you make a tamper for your espresso machine?" And I said, "No, but that would have been a fantastic thing to turn. This isn't big enough. This is a 2-inch uh, diameter bar." But as soon as Voxel said that, I got on the Amazon and I ordered an 8-inch bar, and we turned down this tamper. It's 58. They're usually 58 millimeters. We didn't measure it. I just brought the portafilter and we kept fitting. We kept, trying it until it fit. It came out to 58.6 millimeters.
hmm,
I put a little tapped hole in the top so I could put a handle up on top here.
okay, so
Kind of wishing
58.
I didn't because this is a fine tamper. Just now we had this little piece of stock in the lathe, Jeremy, and we did not have a. This is another thing I should know the name of the tool that you use to cut a piece off. That you run.
I think it's called a cutting. What is that called? Cutoff. I think it's just called a cutoff tool, to be honest.
I would believe that, but the one we had, it's not nearly deep enough to reach
Hmm,
into a. We couldn't cut it off, so we had this Pete, I turned around. I said, "Well, like, what are we gonna do? Just take it all off?" And my friend Alex said, "Why don't you let me try doing something creative up here?" So he turned it down a little too far and put these little grooves in it, and then we hit it with an orbital sander to put a texture on the parts you actually touch. And it's actually pretty cool, just like this. I wish it didn't have the hole in it. No.
Nice.
So I might
Well,
have
yeah,
to do
I
this
guess I
again.
wouldn't have thought to. I wouldn't have thought to put the use an orbital sander like that. But that's an
Yeah, I
interesting technique.
he's been using it on a flat aluminum that he's been putting in the CNC, and it makes a nice. It's very smooth, but it has a. You're never gonna see it, I don't think, on the stream. But it just looks like a. Not exactly a brushed aluminum. I bet there's a term, but I'm very happy. I
So
might have to
that's
make
interesting. So
more.
basically, you just put this is a flat surface. You put an orbital sander on it. It's on aluminum, and you get a nice kind of a textured finish, I guess.
Yep, it's texture. You can't feel it. It feels just as smooth almost as the side that we surfaced over here.
Hmm. Man, I'll have to keep that. I'll have to remember that for future
I'll
use.
take a good.
I get,
I'll have to. I'll ask him what grit of sandpaper he has on there. It's probably pretty fine.
yeah, I guess my only thought about that is I keep, I guess my thought is that it would be like scratching nails on a chalkboard or something, actually the process. But is it
Yeah, I didn't
is
hear.
it
The only
annoying?
thing you can hear is the sander.
Okay,
It sounds the
nice.
same as anything else.
So, well, that's cool, Pat.
Yeah, I'm
It's
excited. I
cool.
kind of wish I had a mini lathe. It'll turn steel. He's played with that a little bit. I should have bought steel, but I thought it was safe to machine aluminum for my first
Yeah, I
something
agree
like
with that.
this.
Or, I guess you could put wood in there, but I think that's kind of a no-no according to some machinists. But
I've been thinking about well, and I don't know how where you would put the tool the chisels and stuff. I don't know what you'd rest those on. To I want
well,
to
I'm saying
turn
you
a
don't you don't
hardwood handle for this, and I'm
you
gonna
don't
do
even
that over at the makerspace. They have a couple of wood, so I might get some help.
right.
And
Yeah, if you got a wood lathe, then just use that, I guess.
yeah, that's what I
Um,
figured. But I might just have fun. I thought I might print like a Darth Vader head on the 3D printer, put a little screw in the bottom of him, and
yeah, well, why
that might
not?
be fun.
Nice. Well, so
Have you
that's
seen
your.
my current CNC project up here, Jeremy?
No, I haven't.
I'm kind of
Oh,
pointing to
oh,
him right here. He's
the
out
the
of
ben,
focus though. If
the
I
bender head.
the bender head,
Yeah, I was wondering about that. That was cut out on a CNC.
that's hardboard. Spray painted it to
Oh, okay. So you could do that on a laser or something too, if you so desired.
absolutely. There's been a fantastic thing floating around Reddit. And it's the front of Homer Simpson's face, just the eyes and the mouth. There's no head,
Yeah.
and it looks just like it's the same style as this to hang on the wall. You just see the wall through it. And I saw that and I said, I could do that bigger. Why don't I try to do that bigger? It'd be a good thing to try using this hardboard for.
Nice. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I guess that's something we've been. I don't know if you, I guess, yeah, I guess you and I were talking about it, kind of on some comments or something, just how excellent a material hardboard is, or hardy board, I
Yeah.
think it's sometimes called, or
Yep. Or masonite.
masonite. So yeah, if you get a chance to get that at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever your preferred, you know, True Value or Kmart
Yeah.
if they still have that, or
Or I hear they do still have Kmart somewhere. We learned that
yeah,
recently.
maybe
But the
so.
hardboard's only about 450 a sheet for 2 feet by 4 feet. It's so cheap.
Okay. What was it? Was it about 25 cents, a couple months ago? Is that?
I don't know if it's gone up like wood has. That's something I'm curious about now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you been following the wood prices?
Well, I haven't, but I talked to somebody. I actually was talking to Pocket 83 the other day, and he said he said something that it was like $9 for a 2x4 or something. And he said something about some fairly high quality like plywood or something he wanted to get, and he said it was like $100 for a sheet
Oh
of
my
it.
gosh.
He's like, so I just couldn't do that. So I don't blame him. So
Yeah, a
who
friend of mine
knows?
told me we have to get together and finally build a real table for my CNC, and I said, "Well, we can't do that. Wood costs 6 times more than it did when we originally played. Why don't we just? I've been getting by anyway. Why? I'll just leave
Yeah,
it on the folding table until wood's back down to
yeah. I
normal
mean,
prices again.
I've never thought of you as the kind of person that shows off or does conspicuous consumption, as they might say. So building something out of wood is you know just ridiculous these days.
Yeah, I was
Um,
almost going to look at the prices of aluminum extrusions instead of wood. I thought it might be cheaper to build a table.
you never know. I mean, I do like that stuff. Um, well, well, Pat, I guess I don't want to interrupt your story about your espresso story, but
Oh no! Well, I
um,
already interrupted it with this CNC, and you do a better job on your laser than I did because this is all fuzzy on the edges. I have
oh,
to.
well, thank
I
you.
did not sand
I
it or
do
anything. It
love
looks terrible.
my laser. I'll say that.
I've heard this
So,
about you.
hey, so on our notes here, we've got something written down. It says F-22 resupply and hair dye. Do you have any idea what that's all about?
I have absolutely no clue, Jeremy.
Okay. Well, my suspicion about F-22 is that maybe there was some drone refueling, so maybe that has something to do with it, or I don't know. They really need airplanes, so I'll just say that. Maybe we'll move on about the hair dye until later. How's that sound, Pat?
Sure, because I don't know. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, sometimes you get into Google document, and you're like, oh, Pat put that, or I put that, and then who really knows?
F-22.
Who really knows what happened?
Oh, we might have to check the history and find out who pasted this in. Hair dye.
Well, well, Pat, we're going to talk about our current projects in just a minute, but I hear you have Rex's book from
I do.
former.
I do. And I'm going to do a better job. It's Everyday Woodworking. Have you seen this yet, Jeremy?
I don't have the book, but the cover looks great.
I mean, when I I've been telling everybody, I don't know if this is quite true, but I've been telling everybody that while we had Rex on the show, I went to Amazon and pre-ordered the book while he was on the air. I don't know if that's true. You're gonna laugh at me, Jeremy, because I don't buy a lot of books.
That's
So
fine.
I might seem stupid, but I was amazed. Everything, every page in this book, just about has a full color photograph, like actual.
Wow, that is amazing because when he was on the show, he said that he does all his photography himself,
It's true, and that's a lot
and
of work to take all these.
and it's
But
his or somebody else's hands is in there too. So that means he had to set it up and put in some sort of timer too. So
yeah, they might be stills out of videos too.
oh, that's a good point.
But
That's a good point. It still
I
means
don't know
you've taken
about you,
some
but I
pretty high
remember
quality
when it was
video.
exciting when there was 1 or 2 pages in a book with color, colored diagrams or photos. But I'm absolutely amazed that you could have an entire book with color photos on almost every page today.
Yeah, well, I don't know though, Pat. When's the last time you bought a book anyway? Has it been
Jeremy, we're talking about.
decades
I
or
bought this one.
that's a good point. So you bought a book within the last month or so, or whenever we had
Yeah.
Rex on.
But before that, it's been years. It's been a long time. Everything I do is electronic anymore.
No, I mean I agree. I don't. I read a decent amount, I guess, and I don't. I don't know. I read a medium amount, but I really would much rather buy it on for Kindle or for my iPad, so I can just have it with me and read it wherever. It's so much more convenient in my opinion. But it's nice of you to buy the physical book. That's being
Oh, you're
you
welcome,
know
Jeremy. It's no problem. No.
sure. Um, but yeah, that's cool. That was nice of him to come on the show. To be honest, so that was
Yeah, he does a good job. He's got a great channel. He's a very nice guy. Jeremy, did you see the video where he reviewed his uh, people in his community that made his projects? Did you see the video of the projects?
I don't think I saw that one. Was that
Oh, he's so nice. It's just 20 minutes of Rex just saying very nice things about everybody's projects. It's just so sweet. It's
so did you see the video of that guy that made his projects, reviewing his video of him reviewing the projects?
Wait a minute. No. What?
I don't think that actually happened, but can you imagine
That
like the guy goes back and he's like, well, Rex reviewed my project, so I'm going to do a review of his review
the review of
of my
Rex,
project.
my review of his project.
And then maybe Rex could go back and do a review of his review, and it'd just be you know,
And you have to have that spinning top, right? So you know if you're inceptioned or not.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And somehow the videos would start going faster. Did you understand that movie, Pat? I mean, Inception.
Yeah, I want to tell you that I did, that I think I did, but I don't, it's been what, 15 years probably since I saw it, so I don't want to speak with authority and say that I really remember what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of I got the general gist, but it's like I think that the question was always how many layers are they into this whole
Hmm.
deal, you know? And I don't think I quite, it was a little confusing, I would say.
Is this
But
homework for next live stream? Do I have to watch Inception so I can tell you if I remember if I understood it?
yeah, 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 that's right. Well, I guess we could that would be a good segue into what we were watching, but I think we should probably say that till the end, right?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think it matters. I don't think
Yeah,
the order matters.
maybe
Does it?
not. Well, if tell you what, we'll talk about that. Those of you watching online, you can hit us up on the chat. Or you're not even watching the YouTube chat, are you,
I
Pat?
am watching the YouTube
Oh,
chat.
okay,
I've responded to Undernet Systems to tell them that I have family in New Jersey.
okay.
Offended that I dislike New Jersey.
Oh no. Well, any, anyway, I was just gonna say you can protest on the chat if you don't like our order, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and talk about what we're watching these days, Pat, and then we'll talk about our current projects after that. Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. So
So what am I
Inception.
watching? Asking me.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. What are you watching these days?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I accidentally was watching.
Okay, and why don't you tell us the platform too, so if people want to watch it, they could
Oh,
watch it
that's
if they want to.
smart. Well, I already know what you're watching, Jeremy, and we watched this right after a couple of episodes of Clarkson's Farm. I don't want to
Okay,
skip ahead, but
okay.
I was at Brian Moses' house the last couple of weekends, and we've watched quite a few episodes. This is rewatching for me. Have you seen The Tick on Amazon? The
I saw
new.
some like the old cartoon, but I haven't really gotten into it on like the new live action one. Is it decent?
I enjoy it quite a bit. I'm gonna tell you, I watched it when it was new. It's been canceled, and I'm bummed out about that. But they canceled it, and then the next year they Amazon started making the Boys. Have you seen the Boys?
Oh yeah, that's a hilarious show.
I don't want to say that the Tick and the Boys are the same show, but they have a lot of similarities. The Tick, yes, well,
I mean the
graphic
boys,
and extreme, but the
yeah,
Tick
I
is
would
also a similar kind of parody of the superhero genre,
superhero genre. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
and it's
maybe I should
funny.
check it out. Maybe I
I
should check it
giggled
out
quite a
again.
bit.
I think I watched maybe the first episode and was like, I don't know if I'm into this, but maybe I should give it another try.
I think so. I've
Okay.
Brian's been enjoying it. I'm enjoying seeing it again after a few years.
Okay. So yeah, if you watch it twice, you still enjoy it. I say so. That's a what'd you get that? It's a maybe not
I
a
give it a thumb
must
up.
watch, but a thumbs up. Not two thumbs
A
up, but
thumbs up.
at
Well,
least
I don't
one,
know. Do
right?
I have two thumbs? It has at least one thumb.
Okay.
I'd
All
watch
right.
it because I'm watching it again, so I'd watch it.
Good. Okay. Okay. You know what? Not to jump ahead of you, but I figured out why I said F-22 resupply. So there might be a little spoilers here for the Tomorrow War if you haven't seen that or if you want to see it.
Oh.
Have you seen this, Pat?
I have not. The internet told me don't watch it. It's terrible, Jeremy. So I want to know what you have to say about it.
I'm gonna say I enjoyed watching it, but it was you had to suspend disbelief to a level that of maybe Terminator 5, the one with the lady from not the one that just came out, but the one with
Ripley.
had the lady from not Lord of the Rings, but oh man, what's the TV show that everybody loved with the dragons and such? And
Oh, that's a. Geez, I thought you were going to say a actress. But
I don't know.
I don't want to interrupt you. Our friend Kenny from Cloudfree is waiting to join. Should we sneak him in?
Yeah, let's sneak him in. I mean, maybe we can ask him what he's watching before he tells us.
Oh,
'Cause
that's
it's
a
a
good
little update.
idea.
Yeah,
Hey, Kenny, is that you?
Hey, what's going on?
not much, man. You're looks like you got a great camera, so you look better than us. So that's great.
Oh, yeah, I was able to snag this at Sam's Club because for the longest time, trying to do online classes, you couldn't find webcams anywhere. They were all out of stock. I was able to snag this off of Sam's Club, and it works pretty well. A Logitech
Nice,
900 something, I think.
Yep.
nice. Yeah,
Those top of the line webcam.
yeah. Well, tell you what. Well, first of all, what are you watching these days? We were just talking about that a little bit. Have you seen anything cool lately?
Hmm. To be honest, I can't say that I have. I
You're
don't
putting
watch
him on the spot, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. I don't watch a whole lot. I mean, probably the last TV show I watched all the way through was Seinfeld. I
Oh, really?
figured there's plenty of references to all kinds of stuff, so I figured I had to go through the whole thing, and it was enjoyable. I really liked it.
Nice. Well, that's cool because I guess that's wow. That's kind of crazy to think about how long ago that was. Because I was in. I remember it. I remember the show ending when I was in high school, and
Yeah, it's before my time.
yeah. But like you watch it and then like well you probably appreciate it more because there's so many people that are like the guy from Breaking Bad is like a tiny character and you know Deborah Messing. There's just so many people that became fairly famous later. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Deborah Messing became famous and had a TV show, and it's been off the air for 20 years already.
Oh yeah. So he doesn't. So that was so there's people that have become famous and they were still
It
before your time
disappeared.
from the show and they disappeared. But
It's been a little while, I guess.
Walter
Unfortunately.
White, Breaking Bad wasn't before your time though, right? That
No,
was
I don't think so.
okay.
No, and he
All
was
right.
a dentist on Seinfeld,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
that's right. Oh, that's good. Good memory, I guess.
Thank you.
Um, but so Kenny, we wanted to have we're glad you called, but I think what we wanted to know was how's your business going with Cloud Free?
Not bad at all. So I know last time we talked, Pat's got one. I remember shipping
I
his
did.
out.
These are awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you like them. So last time we talked, I've been out of stock for a long time. Just being busy with school, not being able to coordinate things with the factory like I wanted to. But they finally came in about a month ago, and they're over half gone already. So it's going
That's
really
amazing.
well, to say the least.
That's awesome, man. Well, I think it's a fantastic product. And Pat, what do you think about the new product? What are your
Oh,
thoughts on that?
it's definitely worth $4 more, Jeremy, for sure. I
Yeah, I told Kenny that you might be plugging his product.
Oh, that's a pun,
Plug.
Jeremy. Good
Yeah, I liked
job.
it. That was clever.
That's fantastic.
Thanks. It was
I'm
kind
excited
of
that you can
terrible,
fit
but
two of these in the power outlet at the same time.
Yes, that
That's
was annoying with the little puck size.
yeah. That's a really nice feature. And I've just been power metering everything. I've been curious how much I learned that my espresso machine uses about a watt hour every day.
That doesn't sound terrible, is it?
It's not that terrible, no, and it
That's
doesn't.
probably what, 5 cents?
Yeah, something like that, about a nickel a day. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
yeah,
it's always
nice.
good to know.
And I'm planning on using the power meter to trigger some of my automation because I that let me infer when I've made coffee because the machine heats up more often while you're making coffee, so I can
Right.
make sure it shuts off after I haven't made another coffee in like an hour.
Very nice. I've used power metering with the washing machine. So when it starts stops pulling power, it can tell you it's done. And then the deep fryer. So
Ooh.
we've got a deep fryer that we have plugged into a smart plug. And so if we were coming home from somewhere, there's a fried chicken restaurant in town. It's the only one in town. And so if we wanted to get some chicken from there and pull some fries out of the freezer, we can start the deep fryer while we're away, and then once we get home and it's done heated up and it turns off, then it can send a notification saying you're ready to drop the fries and you're good to go.
That's
Wait, wait.
awesome.
You go to Penn? No, not Penn State. Purdue, right?
Purdue, yep.
And you're saying there's only one fried chicken restaurant in Purdue?
No, 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 no. I live in a little town of about 130 people, 2 hours south of Purdue.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it's the summer. What am I thinking about?
Hey, you're all right.
Nice. Well, that's interesting because I knew your thing had power metering and stuff, and obviously that's good for figuring out how much your appliances take. But I guess I'd never really thought about timing. Trying to infer what your devices are doing. That really opens up a whole new world. I mean, that's maybe even more useful than the obvious use for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I know people, not necessarily with your smart plug, but there's an app for my electric unicycle that will tell you charge can control certain smart plugs. So lithium ion batteries last longer if you only charge them up to about 80% instead of 100%. But
Okay,
the
yeah.
wheels aren't smart enough to do that. So you plug the smart outlet, you plug it into the smart outlet, and then when the app sees charged 80%, it'll shut the plug off. I think that's
Ah,
interesting.
okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. An electric unicycle, huh?
Electric, it's like the one wheel.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got to I mean, I don't think I could pull it off. I'd have to imagine it requires an awful lot of balance.
yeah. Well, the one wheel's not too bad, but this is different. The one wheel you ride like a skateboard or a snowboard. The unicycle you ride like
Mm.
skiing. You put the wheels in between your feet, and you're on two pedals.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But the unicycles have more range and they're more powerful and they go faster. Mine's a slow one. It'll only do about an hour. But I have
That's
a
still
friend that has one that'll 40, and that's
wow.
terrifying. That's I
Yeah,
don't I don't ever want to do that.
I can
that
imagine.
sounds. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea, Pat. But
No.
good for you, I guess.
I mean, I can get close to 30 maybe if I'm going downhill on a bicycle and pedaling
Yeah,
really hard, but and that's
yeah.
fast
I
enough. I don't
the fastest I've gone is about 26. The app tells me. I try not to go. I have the speed around 20 because I don't wear enough protection to to be happy about falling at 30 miles an hour. That would be. I would not. I You want a full face helmet. You want that chin guard because you're probably going to fall forward, and there's a good chance you'll land right on your face. But
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I need knees and elbows, and I don't wear all that. It's too hot to wear all that stuff here.
Oh, I'm
So I'd
sure.
rather just not go faster. I'm gonna keep it slow, and
Cruising speed.
yeah, yeah,
That's good.
In my younger days, I went over the handlebars of my bike a decent amount, mountain biking and such. And man, that was. I remember scraping up my chin and having to go to the hospital and get stitches. And that was
Oh no.
not
anyway.
fun.
That's hopefully my mom's not listening. I think she know. Actually, I think she knows about that. So you know. Um, hey. So Kenny, another thing we wanted to ask you though about your products. Now I understand you can get, I guess, an associate of yours, affiliate in England. They have I guess, kind of same sort of plugs, same sort of UK based plugs.
Yeah, so different countries use different plug standards. So there is there's a podcast, a self-hosted podcast that the Jupiter Broadcasting guys do. And I met Adam Alport on their Discord channel, and we talked some. And eventually, he messaged me and said, "Hey, I think I really want to start my own kind of cloud free over here because I can't. Trying to ship from my house to other countries is either really expensive or really slow, and so him being there is makes a lot more sense than me trying to do something like that." And so he started it up. He ordered all his plugs, and they are now available for £9. You can get the UK. The store is called Local Bytes.
Okay.
You can get his Tasmota plug.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw a link to it on your website, and I was like, wait a second, is it cloud free or is it? So it's not officially. Is it cloud free or is it not? It's just kind of.
It's not cloud free branded, no. It,
Okay.
it does run Tasmota, so I'm sure it is cloud hyphen free. It's just
Right.
not. It's not my brand. It's his.
Right.
Trademark.
No,
It's
that
not
makes sense.
trademark cloud free.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was nice of you to help him out. I guess that kind of made me think about something. What you did with having the firmware put on there and everything. It seems, to me and probably Pat, and probably most people listening that, wow, that's a really complicated thing. But if you were to do something like that again, do you think how much easier it would be if you had to do, say some sort of other product like that? Would it be really easy, or would it be still pretty hard, or
It's
what do you
not
think?
really hard once you get started. I mean, getting over the first few hurdles is kind of tough. Figuring out doing international, buying internationally from factories and dealing with that is a mess in and of itself. And then tackling, getting the firmware to work right. You definitely don't want to order 1,000 plugs and have the firmware have with some bugs in it. That would get kind of ugly really quick.
Well,
So
you've solved half the problem just by finding a factory that you can
yeah,
try, that you at this point have some trust in.
definitely. That's huge because in most factories, now I say factories, on Alibaba when you search suppliers, some places claim to be factories, but they're really kind of middlemen resellers. And so when you go through there, all the different smart plug models that are available, there aren't very many people who are willing to flash firmware at all for you. So finding a place that I could trust that did good work was definitely a big step.
That's awesome. So you feel like you have a bit of a relationship with them now, and you can, or maybe you use a different company. I don't even know.
No, yeah, I definitely trust them, and I'm actually looking into possibly some. I'm right now working to with a e-commerce fulfillment, like warehousing kind of thing in Europe possibly, and I'm hoping to get a Europe plug eventually here once I figure
Awesome.
out their taxation rules and the shipping logistics of it all.
Oh, so I guess I didn't. For some reason, I was assuming that the UK plug was the same as the Euro plug, but that's not the case.
No, they are
Okay.
different.
Okay.
I think Ireland Ireland is obviously a separate country, but they use the European style plug. But the UK has their own little standard, I guess.
Oh man, that's well. And then Ireland, the island is half of it's English, right, and half of it's
Yeah, so
I don't
I
know.
guess Northern Ireland would use the UK plug standard then? I don't know.
I I don't know.
Good
That sounds
gravy.
I'd have
that
to
sounds like a
imagine it
bit
gets
of a
messy quick.
bit of a mess.
Yeah.
You,
Uh,
you know what was interesting about your new plugs? They have 220-volt specs listed on the back too. Well, I guess it's not that surprising because a lot of electronics work on 110 or 220. I mean,
Yeah,
I know this. I know. I'm aware this is not a 220 style outlet socket.
sure. You're right about that. So actually, I have been people have reached out before. There was a company in India who decided that Tasmota plugs was something that they could integrate into their product, and so they actually ordered some US plugs, which don't work. They have a 220 volt 50 hertz system, I think, and a different kind of plug standard here. But they can buy adapters, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And but yes, they do work with 220 volts, so they can just plug it into some kind of adapter and roll with it over there to kind of test things out for them.
hmm,
Yep. I figured this out because I was confused when I read the back because I was curious. The old plug says some wattage number, and the new one says some max wattage that's ridiculously high. I'm like, how could this be only 5 amps more, but it's 3 times more watts? And that's at 220 volts. It could be.
Okay.
I don't remember the numbers, but yeah, I felt dumb. when I was trying to
No,
figure
no
that
need.
out. Oh, I have a complaint. Is
Okay,
that okay?
sure.
When I plugged this into my espresso machine, I could see the espresso machine, it turns on and off as it warms up. It never showed up in Home Assistant as using any, it never showed a wattage. The kilowatt hours kept going up, and I had to set teleperiod duration. It defaults to a minute, and my device doesn't stay warm for a minute, so it always reports 0. I
Yeah,
set it to 10 seconds was the minimum.
yeah,
I was surprised I had to do, I'm not surprised. I don't know. I'm not mad or anything. I don't
sure.
want
No,
you to
you're
think I'm
fine.
mad.
It's the same deal with the deep fryer. I mean, because yeah, that was an issue. But yeah, when you're able to turn down the teleperiod settings, the default firmware is 1 minute. That's why it's set the way it is. But
Yep.
if you turn that down, it works much better with automations for power monitoring and Home Assistant for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Well, look, I appreciate my plug, and I know Pat does too. It's I guess that's just so annoying to me that the other way of doing it, trying to phone home and everything, and just it's just great that you're doing this. So we really appreciate it, and glad you're able to make money at it too and have a
And
business.
it's
That's awesome.
fantastic that even with Tasmota, you don't need to make use of the power meter in here. You don't need something like Home Assistant. You can just bring up the web interface and you could see. So if you needed to use this as a kilowatt meter somewhere you can't see the meter, you can just plug this in and check it on your phone
Yeah,
wherever you are. That's
there's the
awesome.
possibilities are endless, right?
Yep.
Possibilities are
And
endless.
I'm excited about something that I learned just a couple of weeks ago, Kenny. Am I right that your store is carrying Pi KVM hat?
This is true. Yes.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
excited.
yes. So the Pi KVM, unfortunately, plans kind of fell through. I mean, we're still
Oh
carrying the Pi
no.
KVM. Don't get me wrong. But this first batch that was going to be shipped, I guess so the developer of the Pi KVM is in Russia, and he's had a heck of a time dealing with the different laws and regulations and bureaucracy, I guess, that Russia has. So the first shipment he sent over to me, I paid him. He sent me a DHL tracking number and everything, and then it sat in Russian customs for over two
Ever.
weeks, and it ended up getting returned to him because they wouldn't allow it
Oh,
through because of I don't know, some kind of rule they have, I guess. Luckily, he does have another batch rolling in China that he's hoping will be out in September. So, fingers crossed, it's still on its way.
and what is
That's
what is the
awesome.
Pi KBM for those like me that may not know what you're talking about?
You're doing a good job, Jeremy, because I was thinking the same thing that we should tell you what that is. A KVM is a keyboard, usually it's a KVM switch, you call them. It's like a 4 port or 8 port device with, you plug a keyboard, mouse, and monitor into one end, and then you plug 4 or more, usually computers, usually servers, into the KVM, and you hit a button to
Oh,
switch.
okay. So it's basically like a keyboard that you can use on multiple computers as you need.
Normally, but what the Pi KVM is, it's a step further. It's an IP KVM. So you open
Oh,
up a web page and you can access the computer that the Pi KVM is plugged into. So you
okay,
could be in a totally different room, or if you're using
okay.
it, I have a VPN loaded on mine, so I can plug it in anywhere, and it just phones home, and I can you know remotely control a computer
And compared to
anywhere.
being remote desktoped into something, you have complete control over the whole machine. So you could reinstall the operating system, change BIOS settings,
Oh,
boot
yeah,
off
okay.
of a flash drive or a CD-ROM, or I mean, you have full remote control.
Yep, and it's a virtual CD-ROM on the Pi, so you could transfer an ISO image to the Pi and tell it put this fake ISO in the fake CD drive and
Wow.
reboot the server. And the
The
hat,
rabbit hole
this
never
is
ends, it
really
seems.
cool, can replace your power button and reset button in your computer. So you can actually power off and on the machine remotely.
Well, that's awesome.
It's a really impressive project for sure.
And it's cool for us home server guys because usually if you're going to get this stuff built into a motherboard, you have to buy an expensive server grade motherboard that's probably less powerful than the desktop grade stuff. And then when you upgrade it later, you throw it away. You get rid of those interesting parts. But if you just buy a Pi KVM once, that's it. You can keep that every time you upgrade the machine. You can just plug the Pi KVM into it, so you're not wasting that expensive piece every time you upgrade.
Nice. Well, that's really cool. We really appreciate you calling in, Kenny. Anything else you want to tell us about while you're here? Or we don't want to totally cut you off, but we're gonna probably talk about a few other things.
No, yeah, I understand. Not that I can think of. I just really appreciate everyone's support, and I'm happy to keep on rolling and see what else the future brings.
You're doing a
well,
good job, Kenny. It's fantastic.
We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you
So-
for having me on.
All right, take it easy.
You too.
We'll talk to you soon, Kenny.
All right, sounds good.
Gotta figure out how to hang out. Okay, there we go.
Oh, he
So,
did it. He did it. I was about to click it, and I was weird.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, that's one thing that's been like, we've I guess Pat and I have been talking is like, well, we got to figure out how to like, like on the radio, you'll have to hang up on people or whatever, and it's like, you want to do that and not be rude, and anyway, it's just kind of it's been a hard, I don't want to say a hard thing, just kind of a challenge for us to figure out how to control the
How to
flow of
work
the show.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. So Kenny, thanks so much for calling in. That's great.
Kenny is
Um,
awesome.
Absolutely. So Pat, do you want to hear about my story about the future war? Do we have time for that
Yes.
still?
Yes, the F-22.
So anyway, spoilers if you're going to watch it. So is that okay, Pat? You said it
Yeah.
wasn't that.
Can I tell you something before you start the story
Sure.
that's very related? One of the services, I think it was Amazon, told me I should Bruce Willis sci-fi movie.
Oh, I've seen that come up. I haven't.
Well, don't watch it. I looked it up on IMDb. Do you know what the IMDb rating is out of 10?
4.
2.6 out of 10.
That's not great.
And they paid Bruce Willis a lot of money to be in it. I don't understand.
So it's
The
no
reviews were so bad.
so it's no Fifth Element or
No.
whatever that show where he was jumping around in time with Joseph Gordon-Levitt or whatever.
That's 12 Monkeys. Is that
No, there was one where he's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Anyway, Bruce Willis is traveling around in time, and yeah, I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's
It's
got to be
fine.
12 Monkeys. Unless he's done that a couple of times. You never.
It wasn't
you never
12
know.
Monkeys, so anyway, because yeah, Josh Gordon-Levitt or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he wouldn't have even been on Third Rock from the Sun at that time.
Yeah, you're right. Holy crap. Now I feel old.
Well, anyway, Pat.
Yes.
So
The
Future
Tomorrow War.
the Tomorrow War. You want me to tell you about this, or you want me to hold
I do.
off? 'Cause-
I'm ready.
All right, so we look at this, my wife and I are, like, what do we watch? And she saw it to begin with and said, no, I don't think so. Like when she just saw like the first second, I'm like, yeah, I can understand why that wouldn't appeal to you. But then I start watching it, and the beginning's kind of interesting. It kind of goes into the backstory and how the people come back, and there's a problem in the future. You got to help us fight these aliens or whatever they are, and so basically Chris Pratt, yeah, I guess Chris,
Mhm.
yeah. So he's a former special forces guy, so he's in pretty good shape, and basically they say we're going to send you to boot camp, but there's no more like physical training or anything. We're not going to do any of that. You can still be fat and out of shape and whatever, and you have to be basically over 40 because otherwise, or have died in the interim because otherwise there'll be some time problems. I'll just put it that way. So basically they send all these people into the future with no, all out of shape and just with no rifle training or anything to fight these aliens, which was kind of the first problem. So then they go back in they're in the future, and they said there's 500,000 people left in the world to fight these aliens, right? So, okay, so there's 500,000 people, and this is a big spoiler, but Chris Pratt's daughter, when he goes to the future, is grown up, and she's basically some sort of big scientist, and I don't know, she's basically the head woman in charge, I guess, of researching these aliens. So she reveals that there's 500,000 people left in the world. Yet when Chris Pratt, when they jump in, they've got to send these fighter planes to blow everything up for some reason. So they send five F-22s, five F-22 planes to basically blow up Miami, which apparently Miami's skyscrapers are still standing for some reason. And I'm thinking, how in the world do 500,000 people have the resources to resupply five F-22 fighters? They've got well-trained fighter pilots. They've got bombs for these things. They've got just everything you would need for, you could believe it if they were flying warthogs or something around, but you know what I'm saying? I felt like this was a real problem. And all I had written down was F-22 resupply as you can see. So that was one of my first problems with this movie. Second problem is Chris Pratt's daughter, when she's a little girl, her hair, she's got dark hair, right? I mean, and generally when you get older, your hair gets, at least until it gets gray or something, it gets darker, not lighter, correct? But in the future, his daughter is blonde, very much blonde. So what I'm thinking is, she's dyeing her hair, but with 500,000 people in the future, how are they prioritizing hair dye as one of their essential things they need to get done?
They have to spin up a hair dye effect.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And maybe she had something to do with that, and she stayed on the job a little bit more rather than figuring out how to dye her hair. Because look, she has nice looking hair. I'll give her that. But was that really your issue?
Yeah, they could have done a better job picking the child actress, maybe. There's another movie that I think Netflix has been telling me to watch with Liam Neeson. This ice trucker movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with this. But...
I asked the internet about this. I don't know the IMDb rating, but it's not good. But the complaint was the movie has 2 semi-trucks in it. Supposed to only be 2. But there's like 5 different trucks that all look different because they didn't use the same one for all the filming. They paid to have Liam Neeson in their film, but they couldn't pay to hire the same truck for the whole movie.
Yeah, well,
this is a lot like your girl with the brown-colored hair.
I mean, I'm sure nobody else noticed that, and that's by far not the biggest problems with that movie. It was on the believability scale, I'd say, somewhere late in the Terminator series, it was roughly on that scale. It was like Terminator 1 is like, okay, it comes back, yada yada yada. Who knows what happens? It's kind of vague. This one, you could just see the fundamental problems with it, and I don't know. I would still give it a watch. It. Yeah,
okay.
I didn't feel like I'd totally wasted my time. I enjoyed it, but wasn't totally sold. Kind of like
not totally sold. Didn't totally waste your time.
Right.
Yep. I'm gonna watch it now, for sure.
Kind of like when I saw Star Wars 8, I thought, well, I enjoyed that movie, but it left kind of a bad taste in my mouth too. You know what I enjoyed it when I was watching it.
Which one's the 8th one? What's the?
It's the one before 9.
I know, but
I don't know, and the last one was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So,
but the Mandalorian is fantastic.
I haven't seen that. So.
Oh, you're gonna have fun. It's fantastic.
See, the thing is, I feel like if we get Disney Plus, then I have children, and they probably won't let me get rid of it. So
yeah.
So that's the debate here, not whether I want to watch it or not. So Yeah, I don't know. Um, when you mentioned Liam Neeson, though, did you see Honest Thief? Because that was
No,
also a.
no, but I've seen the title, so it must be available somewhere.
I'd say that was like slightly less good than Tomorrow War or whatever it was called,
Okay.
and then Future War, because because spoiler or whatever, he's trying to basically clear his name and get them to go easy on him for some stealing some stuff, which I thought was kind of ridiculous anyway. But during the process, he blows this person's house up, and they make no big deal about it. They're just like, "Well, we'll probably
That's
go easy
fine.
on you for the bank robbery." Like, pretty sure if you blow up somebody's house up, you're on the terror alert list, and you're going
Yeah,
to
it can't be good.
Guantanamo or something. But you know, it's a movie. It's a movie, I guess. So
I don't do a good job picking out movies to watch because I sit down, I look at the TV, and they say, "Well, you've got to watch this for 2 hours," and I say, "Well, why don't I just pick a TV show where I can kick out after 20 or 40 minutes, and then I'll end up watching 3 or 4 episodes, and it's more than 2 hours anyway. But I have the option, I don't
yeah,
have to.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go through this pretty fast because we want to get to our projects. Obviously, we've been on the air for a while, but I will say we both watched at least part of Clarkson Farm.
Yes,
Pretty good. I would recommend. That's a do watch. I would say.
yeah, Clarkson's Farm is fantastic. I missed the first 2 or 3 episodes. I sat down and watched it with people as it
Yeah,
was already.
he's in. Jeremy Clarkson's entertaining as ever, and really shows how just the technology and the coordination and everything that it just portrays farming as maybe quite a bit more
Difficult.
interesting than perhaps the average person would perceive it of. Would you say that's accurate, Pat?
Yeah, that's very accurate. He has a lot of problems. They're problems that can be solved, but they're difficult, and timing is difficult, and weather is difficult.
And the technology is amazing too. Just
Yeah.
I mean, it's really really cool. It was a good role for him, and just generally. Um,
Have his cooking show on Amazon?
I
Oh,
have not.
Cook.
Is it good?
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I was comparing it kind of to Clarkson's Farm because Clarkson's Farm, I'm never going to be a farmer. I'm never going to be on a farm. I'm never going to be doing farming work. It's interesting to see. I mean, he's basically screwing things up like he does on Top Gear all the time, right?
Basically, yeah.
But on the cooking show, James May, it's a tutorial. You have to learn to cook the thing he's cooking. So he's imparting knowledge. It's a very different
Huh. That is
than
different.
Top Gear.
Well,
But he
I
has a
don't.
homie lives in his pantry, and when he screws up and he comes out of the closet and helps him cook. She's a professional
Really,
cook.
that
I don't
sounds
know.
interesting. Yeah, well, I'm never going to be a cook,
No, no, but I have a kitchen. I don't have a garden or a farm out back.
right? Well,
But you can hear a rooster from my backyard in the morning.
okay. Well, I guess you live in Texas, right? So that's
It's true. It's true. There's a horse farm ranch thing across the little creek here. Over it's this way.
okay. Well, Pat, one last
Yeah.
question in the what we were watching section.
Uh
Have
oh.
you seen The Head yet?
This is for the same reason that I haven't watched the movie. I sit down and I see it's telling me I'm halfway through episode 4 or something, and I look at it and I think I have to remember other episodes. And this show is serious business. This is not they're not screwing around here. And I feel like this is pretty heavy. I don't know if I should watch this right now, and I end up watching something else.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to, ask you that because obviously your email address is thehead@patshead.com. So
And I'm still waiting to figure out if that show is about me.
yeah, and you ought to get some money from the licensing. I would think.
If I'm in there for sure.
You should have seen. I I do. I like the scenery. It's about being in Antarctica over the winter, I think, or something. So
Yep.
it's kind of cool because it's just so foreign to me. So I think that's pretty neat.
So cold.
Um, so cold. So Pat, though, you know,
I
we
think
were
I think you have more projects than I do, Jeremy, right now, other than my friend Bender up here.
Fern Bender. Yeah, actually, I've got a lot of projects I'm excited about. To be honest, I got one done fairly recently. Put it. Well, it's not lighting up now for some reason. I don't know if it could be a bad thing.
Don't-
Well, I'm gonna unplug it because I had this plugged into my USB. Oh, you know what? I know why it's not lighting up. All right, so first things first. So recently I've been making all these printed circuit boards, and I decided to make a kind of like a, I don't know, what do you call that? Shadow board for it?
I'll
Shadow
call it a
box?
shadow box. I'll believe that.
Yeah, and yeah, basically, so I made this shadow box, and it's got all my, you know, former PCBs on there, just
All your
kind of like
successes and failures.
all my successes and failures. So it's kind of like a Hall of Shame and fame. I think I had that on the model when I first did it. So it's got all kinds of stuff on it. And on the top here, well, I guess this is the top. I've got some lasers, not lasers, some programmable LEDs on it, and an ESP8266 is one of the PCBs that I didn't make this. I didn't make this, obviously, this WeMOS D1 Mini,
Yeah,
but it controls the lighting on it. So it's kind of like it's got like a backlight on it at all
and
times.
you can
Or
hide
not.
the Wi-Fi controller in plain sight. Nobody will
Yeah,
suspect.
exactly. So that's been a really, I thought that was a really cool project. And now that I think about it, the reason that it's off is that it uses something called WLED, which is a LED controller. And at 9 o'clock, I've got it programmed to turn itself off. So it did
No,
it exactly what it's supposed to do. But
but Jeremy,
yeah,
it's
if you,
still
yeah, 9 o'clock on the Eastern time of the U.S., which is where I live. Um, but yeah, so it turned itself off. But basically, it can shine all kinds of different light patterns on my PCBs and everything. It's really cool. And my understanding is, I believe you can integrate with this with Home Assistant, and thus with any sort of cloud-free stuff or anything else, and it can all go together. Mine doesn't currently.
3D
I just
Weeb says it's a shadow box of fame and flames.
fame and flames. Well,
I don't
trying
know
to
how
think if
many of
there's
your
been
PCBs catch fire.
that's a good way to put it. But I don't think any of them have been on fire. Now that I think about it, they've all been burned with solder. So it's a fame and smoke at least.
I've
So
had a few PCBs go up in very spectacular flames, but it's usually not. It's never one that I've made myself.
okay. Yeah, so that's been neat though, because it's, I just feel like, you make these PCBs and they really are beautiful, whether they work or not. And I would say most of mine work and on some level, but even if they don't, I mean, I think they're just a beautiful display piece and kind of a part of my little history, I guess. So I would, whether you do one like I did, or which I put a video up on that recently, or you do something else, I would say definitely save your PCBs and show them off for yourself or anyone
Absolutely.
else anyone else that'll listen.
I've been wanting to save the first spoil board off of my CNC machine and hang it on the wall because there's so much history of all the first things I've done. You know, when your end mills go past
Yeah,
the
yeah.
impression of your
Not a
all
bad
over.
that's It's not a bad idea. It's I don't know, I guess I feel like, I mentioned this on, I don't know, Twitter or something, and somebody said something about, all I have is like leftover 3D printed parts, or I didn't even think about that, spoiler boards. But I do feel like PCBs, they're small enough and
Hmm.
they're not dirty, if that makes any sense. So I do feel like they're a nice format to preserve in a shadow
Yeah,
box, if that makes any sense. So
I
I
like it,
don't know.
Jeremy.
Well, thank
I
you.
think it's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I've been I've been happy with it. I was kind of surprised the video didn't do better than it did, but I guess
It's
I just live it.
unpredictable, Jeremy. You never know what YouTube's gonna like.
never know. So, but that's
Brian
okay.
says that if your PCBs haven't caught on hard enough.
I guess it's true. So that's I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I also don't want to burn my house down. So,
It's true.
um, but maybe I'm not. Maybe that's the kind of commitment you have to make to, you know, whatever. So you didn't. So Pat, you don't have much to share today, or you?
I don't think I do. I'm looking around. You'd think I'd have something near me here, but I haven't been. I haven't been making a lot of. Once a month I try to write a blog post about the things that don't qualify for a whole blog post, but a couple of paragraphs about each of the things I'm working on. And I
Right.
realized I have a whole bunch of stuff that's just not come to a fruition. Everything's just 20-30% of the way there. I've been
Yeah.
spending a lot of time doing video stuff and not hacking things.
Yeah. I
And
know what you mean.
I already showed you my tamper. That's Jeremy, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, that's okay. Well, did you see that meme that's been going around? Right. At least I saw it in a couple places, but it was some soccer player. It said something like projects I'm working on, and then I had some guy behind him grabbing his jersey, and it said new projects that I need to start. And
Yes.
it's so
Yes.
true. So I think I think, I work for myself, so I do these projects somewhat for income and somewhat just for entertainment. But I do feel like, working for somebody else when I did, at least when you work for somebody else, if you get bored with your project, you still have to do it, or
Yeah.
then you get then you get in trouble. So,
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I let Joe do it.
yeah, I'll do it some other time, maybe if I
Yeah.
get to it. So, um, well,
I'm excited about that other project you're working on, but I don't know if you were going to talk about that.
oh,
Today.
I am gonna talk about it. But thank you for
Thank
thank you for
goodness, because
introducing
I'm
me.
so excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. In fact, it's well, here I'll just go ahead and put it out there on camera for a second.
Sure.
It's basically it's going to be a like a rotary shortcut keyboard. So, and
So it's
I've got hooked
I've heard these called macro pads, and I've heard
macro
them
pads,
called,
right?
and it's like a Stream Deck. That's a
So it's
proprietary one.
still a bit of progress, but basically what I'm going to have is five five keyboard keys. I'm still waiting for those to get in from China, and then I'm also going to have this. Well, I do have this encoder on it that you see it'll work. It goes one way or the other.
Oh, and does it have a screen on it?
Well, see, that's the interesting thing. So basically, my idea was that I would have five keys, and then this rotary encoder to do volume or maybe scroll, or maybe depending on the application, runs off a Arduino, or not an Arduino, but a at ATmega Pro Micro board. So it can be used as a user interface, like a extra keyboard, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And on the bottom, I've got a laser cut bottom for it. And the other thing I wanted to do with this was I decided that I would break out some of the I/O, right? So then I thought, well, I could break out the I2C pins, and then I thought, well, I could put a little display on it. So this is kind of like a honestly, this is a bit of an afterthought, but I think it's one of the coolest parts of this project. So,
Yep.
you know, um, anyway, so right now I've got it hooked up that if I spin this, it goes back and forth, and if I press down on this or use this, it varies the volume. But I don't want to do that right now because we're on a
We're
podcast, so
yeah.
yeah.
Where?
So
How much do the cherries? I'm assuming they're cherry switches or knockoff cherry switches that your key
well,
switches that you're using.
this switch is even more of a knockoff. I purchased some cherry switches that are en route right now from who
You,
knows where, China, I guess.
do you know where to get cheap cherry switches in 2 days?
Well, let me tell you where I got this switch. How about that? Because
That I'd like to hear
I
because I had a
guarantee it's
brilliant idea. I thought 2 days ago.
I guarantee it's cheaper and faster than what you're
Okay.
about to propose. so I basically I'll tell you what, Pat. Can you let me show you where I got it. Let me just see if I've got it in the closet. So just a
Sure.
second.
What we're learning is the things in Jeremy's closet are cheap because they're already in his closet. But I'm not going to tell him that the extra keyboard that I have is a keyboard, so we don't want to take it apart.
Okay,
Yes,
it's not in my closet. I think it's in the garage, but
you already had a keyboard.
I already had a keyboard. I hacked it up, and that's really a pain to soldering those though. So I only got one
Oh,
keyboard out of it.
what I saw the other day was was $18 for an 87 key 10 keyless keyboard with hot swappable cherry switches. So you just pull them out, no soldering,
Really?
just boop. Yep.
Oh man, I should have asked you before I ordered.
And they go on sale, and they're only $25 when they're not on sale. It's not an expense. These are cheap keyboards anyway.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I feel bad that I pumped up this like, well, where I got them, and now
Well,
they're, like,
yours
in the
were
garage or
cheaper
something.
because you had them already.
Well, yeah, but if I took the value of my time,
Yep.
they're
I
much
don't know
more
what
expensive.
$17 for what that works out to per key. But you can get them in just about any color cherry switch you want. You probably want quiet ones for a stream,
I
not
don't know.
these.
I think the ones I ordered were kind of loud, but I hadn't even thought about streaming. So I was thinking more for like KiCad and other stuff like that. But yeah, streaming
Yeah.
is good too. Oh, and it's got WS2812 LEDs on it. So one of them doesn't seem to work correctly. And I wanted to ask you about this. Have you ever tried to hand solder these
No, but I
or
saw
not?
this in your notes, and I was going to tell you that my friend who designed our board with the 2 millimeter
Yeah,
NeoPixels, the smaller ones, he was really concerned about where we got the PCBs manufactured because you have to dry before you put them in the oven, reflow to heat them to a certain temperature, like for 2 days or something. I don't even I don't remember the specifics, but it was complicated. You had to dry them out, or else they would, they would fail within a few weeks of use
I
if you
didn't know
just
that.
throw them in a reflow oven. So I don't, I don't know the details.
I don't know because I
If
guess
he's
what I'm thinking.
listening, he's probably sending me a message right now to tell me this.
Well, if he knows how to hand solder them with like an actual solder and an iron, that would be. I'd love to know that. That
I bet you
I,
need hot air.
well,
Need.
the thing is, if once I get this developed, I'm thinking that I'll probably sell it on Tindy, and if I sell, I'm not gonna solder these up myself. I don't think, but I could sell them as a kit. And the problem with the kit is these WS2812B LEDs. If you can't attach them with a soldering iron, then that's a big barrier to entry. You
Yep,
know, you know what I
and
mean?
the average person who says yes, I know how to barely know how to solder, they're not going to be able to. They're not.
Right.
I know a
So I
lot of
mean,
people that can solder that would not even try that.
yeah. So I mean, I guess the alternatives is either I solder them up myself with a hot iron, which isn't
Yeah, or you
maybe
have
maybe not out of
PCB
the
way to do it.
yeah, I could do. And this is I should mention, they actually sponsored me for this. I guess they'll
Oh,
sponsor me for the
awesome!
upcoming video. So they got me the PCBs for free, and they got the it was like their matte black coating, which I think looks just fantastic. So,
Yep,
you'll probably hear me plug that some in the next
I'm
next video or
I'm
so.
really excited. I've been wanting a Stream Deck, but not the ones that you can buy. Like they sell them with little on each button for about
Oh
150
yeah,
bucks. But I want knobs. I want at least one knob adjusting volume or something. And I
yeah.
thought by now, with how much podcasting and streaming we've been doing, that I would know what I want on a Stream Deck or a macro keyboard for this. But then we started using Riverside, and we don't use OBS, and I don't anything
Hmm,
because it does everything for me.
okay.
So now I don't even know what to do with one.
Well, yeah. I'm sure I could get you one for a good price, and you'll maybe you could let me know what you want on it, or for I guess for that matter, you're competent enough to probably put what you want on it. So,
Well, I hope.
um, yeah, and it's funny. This is not my first time doing a Mac or whatever keyboard. I had this that I designed a while ago, and it's got a what was it, some little board. I thought it was pretty cool. I got it at Maker Faire. I can't even remember what it's called, which is terrible because they gave me a sample. But anyway,
But the
anyway,
video where you made this knows, and we'll put a link
yes,
to that in the description.
yeah, that'd be excellent. Um, anyway, so this one was cool, but making it with the PCB is much better and much more repeatable, in my
Yep,
opinion, at least.
you're correct.
So, um, but yeah, I guess those are the two big projects, and I guess it's funny, like I found, I was doing something for Tindy, and I saw like a macro keyboard, like, well, that's kind of cool, but I wish I had a rotary encoder on it, and
And
then I
now
saw
it
somebody
does.
else. Yeah, exactly. So, and I saw somebody else that made one with two rotary encoders. That's like that looks pretty cool too. So I've definitely gotten some inspiration from several different places. So it's kind of cool to be able to be inspired and make what you want. And maybe other people want this too.
I was thinking
So
about trying some of the potentiometers, like you see on a big audio soundboard at the that maybe that's in the 80s for all I know. But
yeah, no,
with
no,
all those sliders.
I've got some in my parts bin actually, but I think the problem with that, I'm sure there's a way to get around it, but the problem is generally it has like discrete a computer has discrete, like you say, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, and the
Yeah,
encoder can do the turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, whereas the slide potentiometer, it turns it down, turns it up.
it can't just be a keyboard key. It needs to
Right.
be more complicated. Yeah, I
It's hard to get this zero in there. The one way maybe you could get around that, I mean, there's probably lots of ways you could get around it, but perhaps when it gets to zero, you just hit it down, 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 down a lot, I guess. But I don't know.
you would have to keep track.
Yeah, it's a tougher problem than maybe, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, mine would never be a product because I would have it interface over Wi-Fi or serial or something, and have a little daemon on the computer to keep to answer those.
Yeah,
So the little thing would say patch 60%, and it would just put it at 60%. The magic.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited about this, whether it's becomes a successful product
I'm
or it's just
excited
something.
about it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I whatever happens to it, I'm excited to see where it goes. Whether that be my you know, just for me or for lots of people. I guess we'll just have to see. So,
Yep.
um, well, Pat, I guess is there anything else we should talk about today? I guess we have some
Well, I'm
got some
going to
nice
take a quick look
guests.
at your paper here to make sure I didn't miss anything important.
Yeah. So
I did enjoy Clarkson's Farm, Jeremy. I just saw that
yeah,
there. And I think we've
pretty
done a pretty good job.
yeah. So I guess if
Toby
we were
says my audio cuts out every few minutes for about a half a second. I wonder
hmm,
if it's just on the stream or if it's. We'll find out.
find out next time
Yeah,
or not next time, but
yeah. This time when
find
it's
out this
not.
time and not live. So
So,
yeah, so I
Jeremy,
guess
where
kind
can we
of
find you? What have you been published to the? Can we have to
so yeah,
tell
I
people
guess
that?
so yeah, I guess you can find me jeremyscook.com is my website. You can find me on YouTube, Jeremy S. Cook, search that, or on Twitter it's at Jeremy S. Cook. So pretty much Jeremy S. Cook is going to get you to something that I've written. Now, what about you, Pat? Where can we find you?
Well, I'm not too worried about you finding me where you usually find me, but we've been filming and streaming every Tuesday. We've been streaming the filming of, geez, I'm doing a terrible job. the first Tuesday of every month, we're live streaming the filming of episode What Show on the Butter What YouTube channel.
Right.
And
your,
we're up
your
to, we have
tagline
more
is,
than 10 episodes published now. We've been
Nice.
doing one a week, and I think we've done 4 live so far. I'm pretty, next week, where Tommy Trebuchet shows us alligator Mike almost getting it from an alligator. He loses his bucket. It's terrifying and hysterical. It's awesome.
yeah. So check that out. I'm sure we can put a link to that in the description as well. And your tagline is butter what, like Jabba the Hutt, right?
That I enjoy that rhymes,
Thank you. Yes.
but it's just butter what because we like butter, and anything you put butter on is better than without it.
Usually,
Yeah.
I would say that's usually.
Yeah, there's
So-
not a lot of things you shouldn't put butter on.
Maybe tacos. Maybe not though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, if you want to try that, I'm sure you can ping Pat at butter what
Yeah,
if you want. So yeah, well, Pat, thanks so much for joining us, and
thank you for
Yeah.
joining us, Jeremy, and thank the audience
you.
for watching us.
oh yeah,
I think
and
we've done a
thanks
reasonable
Toby
job,
and
I
Kenny
hope.
for calling in. That was always
Yeah.
appreciated.
Toby, that was
So-
everything you said was so sweet, and you really do have an awesome 3D printed case. Everybody should check. It's the MK735 because it holds 7 3.5-inch hard drives.
Ooh.
It's a
And
tall boy.
and Kenny's stuff is cloud free because it's cloud free. I think it's
It's free of the
cloudfree.shop,
cloud.
right? Right, Pen? Right, Pat?
Shop. Yep.
Wow, I just called you Pen. I don't know why.
Pen. That's
Yeah,
okay.
well, that's a new one.
It's not a big. And do you know on our live stream and in an episode, I said there was a 3D printed thing, and I said it was at 3dcult.com, but it's plural. It's cults. Don't put the wrong one in. It's not 3D print. It's not safe for work, and it's not 3D printing.
Yeah,
Be very
I,
careful what you say. Is kind of what I'm saying. You've got to read all the letters.
I remember I Hotbot, that search engine back in the day.
Yeah.
I tried to put Hotbot in, but I accidentally put in Hotbat. That is not the same. That is not the same website.
It's probably not the same website.
It was not the same website. It might be different now, but I'm not going to try again. Yeah. So anyway, well, thanks everybody, and I guess we'll talk to you later.
I'm typing in hotbat just so. Nope, it's not. It's a bad gateway, bad
Oh, okay,
Nginx configuration. You're safe. You can go there.
Okay,
now.
good. I guess.
But
All right, now you know.
you now you know, and you guys all have evening. Is it evening still? Yeah, it's done.
Depends where you are.